Assalamu alaikum, I'm Dr. Marwa, and I'm going to be speaking to you today about mental health through an Islamic lens. What does it mean to look at mental health through an Islamic psychological lens? This is a journey for me that started over 15 years ago. When I first started navigating Islamic psychology, I really had a few questions that I set out to understand and set out to answer with the grace and help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The questions I had were, how does the Quran and the Sunnah speak to the psychological experience of the human being? What is the psychological understanding of the human being through the Quran and Sunnah? How did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create our psychological facets? And what are our psychological facets for? How do we utilize them? How do we interact with them? So for me, I really wanted to understand how Islam speaks to our psychological experience, how Islam affects our psychological experience as well. How does the teachings of the Quran and Sunnah impact our mental and emotional well being and how we show up and how we interact with our human experience? But I also wanted to know how our psychological well being and our psychological capacities impact our spiritual experience. Does the work on ourselves psychologically impact the way we walk towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And does our spiritual experience and our relationship with Allah impact our psychological well being? So for me, when I started this work many years ago, that's what I wanted to understand. I was really curious to understand how my creator created me and designed me psychologically and spiritually, and the tools that he gave us within to navigate this human experience beautifully in a way that empowers us, not only mentally, not only emotionally, but behaviorally and spiritually and holistically.